What's up, party people? Jarred Vanderbilt has officially been approved to return to basketball activities, and I have some Lakers rosters updates for you. I'm Jaya Tewari with Lakers Digest, but before I get into anything, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you've been watching our videos. We put out a couple of Lakers videos every week, and would love to have you guys around for the ride as we keep going throughout the season. But let's get into it. So like I said, Jarred Vanderbilt has been approved for a return to basketball activities. There is no set date for when he can actually start playing in games again, but he can now finally go back to practicing with our squad. So here we have the official Lakers account tweeting today that he was reevaluated by Lakers team doctors and has been cleared to begin a return to play progression. Further updates will be provided as appropriate. So this is obviously incredible news considering Vanderbilt was one of, if not our best defender. He is so crucial, especially on perimeter defense. When he is out there just being a menace on perimeter defense, it takes so much of the load off of AD for being our only defender in the paint. Obviously, people are still going to get through Vanderbilt, but again, just loosens the load on AD and gives him more time to focus on defenders that do get through instead of just kind of trying to spread his defense way too far and be focusing on way more people getting through our defense than he should be. And our current players are not super great on defense. We have some really strong ones, but to be honest, Austin Reaves, D'Angelo Russell, Christian Wood, they're definitely lacking on their defensive end. But Jarred Vanderbilt will definitely be able to carry through there and bring back some much-needed defense. We've definitely been slacking there, as you can see how many points we've been giving up in these past few games. And also, Jarred Vanderbilt recently, in the past couple months, agreed to a 4-year, $48 million contract extension with the Lakers, which means that he is going to be with us at least until 2027-2028 season. So clearly he is so important to our roster. I mean, he was expected already to be our 5th starter if he didn't get injured. He hasn't played since October 7th, which means he hasn't actually played any regular season games, which is just absolutely brutal for somebody who started 24 games last season and was just, again, so crucial on defense and also as a rebounder. So I want to quickly talk about some of his stats, especially his rebounds. So last season, for us, he was averaging almost 8 rebounds a game. 7.5 rebounds in the regular season is absolutely absurd. He was only playing 24 minutes, which is still a decent amount, but obviously not as high as some of our other players. And he wasn't as important during our postseason, but also our postseason was not the best. Obviously, we had an earlier exit than we would have been hoping for, but it makes sense that he didn't get a lot of playing time during the postseason when we were really trying to maximize scoring. But obviously then decided to suffer defensively because we were doing that. And then as for his career, though, he still does average 6.6 rebounds throughout his entire career, which is just a ridiculous number. And it really kind of makes up for the fact that his postseason rebound count is lower. But obviously there also is the argument that he chokes during the postseason, but that's up for you guys to decide. I mostly want to talk about his regular season competency, especially since that's what we're looking for right now. We've had a pretty lackluster start to our season, and a lot of that has been due to so many of our players getting injured. Luckily, none of them have been our star players and super serious injuries, which now brings me to second thing I want to talk about, and that is some super brief Lakers rosters updates. So obviously we know that LeBron is out right now for an undetermined length of time, but it's not that serious. It looked like a way nastier injury on the court against the Suns than it actually is. I'm glad that it isn't anything more serious. And obviously AD was out for a bit too, but he's been cleared to return to play, and so we'll probably see him in tomorrow night's game. So not a huge deal considering AD and LeBron's current injuries. They'll be back in no time. But if you guys are a avid fan of Lakers Digest, you know that I very untimely made a whole hype video about Jalen Hood-Schifino only for him to get injured right after I posted the video. And he also hasn't played, so he's been out for quite a bit, and so has Gabe Vincent. And with Jarred Vanderbilt out for a bit, some of our depth players and just kind of super solid backups were really lacking. And so I'm hoping that now that Vanderbilt's back, it'll kind of make up for our depth depth players being out. And then also now that Rui Hachimora is back, and since he actually started last game, since LeBron was out, hopefully he can now have the kind of, or he can start playing again and be living up to the expectations he set last season. He was so good last season, and I'm really hoping he carries that through this season as well. And yeah, I don't know. I just have some pretty high expectations now that Vanderbilt's returned. I'm such a big believer and not pun not intended, defender of defensive players. I've said this so many times, but obviously it's so easy to focus on our offensive big scorers because we have so many of them. But our defenders are what are really holding the team together. Obviously, it's what keeps our opposing team's scores low and just make sure that we're playing the best we can be. And it ensures that our players like AD don't get unnecessarily tired on defense so they can save their energy for offensive big time scoring. But yeah, once again, I've been Jaya Tewari with Lakers Digest. Make sure you subscribe. I have two amazing co-hosts who aren't obviously in this video, but they're also putting out a ton of videos. Make sure you've watched all of those. And again, subscribe. So many of you are watching and not subscribing to our videos. And my boss keeps yelling at me for it. So how about you subscribe for the last goddamn time? But I'll see you guys tomorrow, and let's hope for a win.